look, we're making the new counterculture whether they want it or not. So who's going to run the non-woke answer to Newsarama or the non-autistic IGN?
Our new co-host that will be taking Richard's spot on the show is Mr. Emily Music! My next co-host, the man who will absolutely make you change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going to help you change from having that story in your head to putting it on paper and putting it into people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org.
Alcohol. A good Christian boy.
Number 1 Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. Welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. I am buying him goat. I love goat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What's going on, everybody? Oh, this is going to be a good... So we were already arguing backstage about Boondock Saints 1 versus Boondock Saints 2. We were.
One being the superior film, of course.
It is. I even said that. I even said that. You guys, oh, he's a shill for bad... Fuck you guys. We're past the 30 seconds. I can say that word now. No, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are back for Iron Age Nights, the show we do every single Friday to bring you a fantastic new indie creator and hopefully somebody that you or somebody who becomes the next favorite. Buy the shit that we're about to show, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Shut up. Just buy it. Just here. I'm going to share the link before I even share any of my shills. Like, I'm just here's the link. Go buy the stuff. It's awesome. And do me a favor, for those of you out there, share the link to the stream. Let everybody know that we are live right now because you guys are going to enjoy it. This story is absolutely insane. I saw it a few months back. I'm very excited that we were able to set this up very quickly, by the way, because we're terrible hosts. And basically, this entire summer, all of us have been so busy. Scheduling? What's scheduling? What does that mean? That's how we deal. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been doing the legwork this month.
It's true. It's true. It's true. He has, dude, Daniel's been doing so much legwork, he's got thunder thighs now. Like, he is now Daniel Thunder Thighs Riley. Like, just massive, bulky thunder thighs.
Not sure I like that as much as Conan the Librarian.
Justin, you're still muted, dude.
Justin, unmute. Here, I did it.
I was saying all kinds of things that were just funny and profound and life-altering, and no one will ever know.
This is how it goes, man. This is what happens when you
It's
go pay attention to the mute button.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't get a chance to say it. I love the Templar imagery that you got in the background there, man. That's all pretty badass.
Oh, that's well,
I mean, you got a Templar and then you've got another Crusader cross there.
And the popping. Yeah, it's
those are all
different indie guys. Yeah,
indie guy shirts, man. Indie creator shirts. That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in to Iron Age Nights. And if you guys would like to support the show, there are two ways that you can do that. The first way that you can support the show is if you guys are the super chat types, because I know there are some of you out there, you can always send in a direct super chat through PayPal over here, because we're no longer on the monetized channel. We're on the non-monetized channel, but you guys can send in through PayPal right here, or you guys can also go to this link right here, as long as I can copy it out of my Word document. You guys can go and you can check out the A Drink with Crazy merch. I have to get new shirts in. I haven't done a shirt in a while. I just muted Daniel. My bad. I was trying to press a different button. I mean, don't know if that'd be the worst thing in the world. Anyway, go check out the I Support Indie Creators t-shirt. you can go check that out over here on the Teespring. And if you guys would like to support the channel that way, you can. Or if you guys are the type that like to watch over on Rumble, you can super chat over there as well. And all of that goes to basically helping me provide you guys with a better show and doing more and more for you guys, because that's honestly what I'm doing. And I am still currently doing that. And ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we should say hello to the chat, and then I have to introduce my co-host because I forget to do that. And why are people's names disappearing? Raiden Radio, what's going on? We got AC Pritchard as well. We've got Jersey in the chat. Evely Music. I don't associate with the chat. He's a new host, guys. He doesn't know. He doesn't
Always.
know. Garham, what's going on, man? He's over on
Don't
YouTube.
listen to Royce.
We've got Miranda as well. What's going on? We got Bat Sauce down there. It's good to see you. And Tim Allen, what is going on? In addition to that, to the fantastic people in chat, they're all miscreants and delinquents. Don't just
How
they're
dare
always,
you.
how
Isn't
dare
that,
yeah,
isn't that why the chat's here? Like they're the party, man.
This is true.
About the party
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Royce
yeah.
doesn't like partying.
I hung out longer than you did. With that being said, hi Daniel, how are you
Technically
doing?
not.
No, but yeah, what? Wow, yeah. That last day, I kind of zonked out. I zonked out at like 6 o'clock. I was done.
He was going strong until the final day. Him and I were hanging out, and he just like passed out in his chair and was done for the rest of the day.
I mean, that'll happen, man.
I mean, it's like
one of those things.
Admittedly, so I ran the numbers. I ran my smoker, and for everybody's like, "Oh, you have a smoker? It's a pellet smoker." No, it's a wood-fired Texas offset smoker. So once I light the fire, I'm there. I ran it for 25 hours between Friday and Saturday.
Oh my god!
And I was up Thursday night at 10 o'clock, had the smoker fired up, and then was up until midnight on Friday night, and so that was a 25-hour day. Then I woke up the next day and then smoked food, and I was up until wait, when did everybody bail out? It was like midnight or 1 o'clock before everybody bailed out on Saturday. I know it was a late night.
It's all blur, man. It's all blur.
And then Sunday, I sat there and hung out with Daniel, and then I made it to about 6 o'clock, and I was gone. And then my wife was like, "Hey,
Sounds like
Daniel's leaving," and I think I woke up and I was like, "Eh." And then and then I went back to sleep, and I
Accurate.
Did my hand raise that high? Was it like at a 45 degree? Anyway.
No, you definitely did not see Kyle, but you did sort of flop your arm a little bit.
Oh God, felt terrible. I was supposed to drink some High West with you, and I didn't.
Oh man!
Another time, my friend.
I was.
But 25 hours of smoking meat and everything like that. I'm sure ayahuasca would have made that interesting.
Yeah. Oh jeez.
It always does.
Oh God.
Every time.
Hi Daniel, how are you doing this week? What do you do? Where do you come from? And what do you plan on doing this week? Probably drinking again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody at this point knows exactly what I do. But yeah, having my IAK drinks tonight.
What are you drinking?
High West, of course.
Ooh.
Double rye.
There you go. Justin from Evely Music, my other co-host. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Good,
Wrapped
man.
up. I think I wrapped up a song for McCoppin today, so that's exciting. We're very close. Maybe a little bit more polish needed, but it's good. And I got a lady to sing on it and parts. So I think it'll be a treat for everyone's
There you
ear.
go.
So it gets released out here.
Awesome, man. And ladies
Excellent.
and gentlemen, the man of the evening, somebody whose project I had not seen until about a month or two ago when he shared it on the thread on Twitter, and then ended up in the chat that night. So I think you're fairly new to the channel, but
New-ish. I had been subscribed to your guys' channel for a bit and like caught shows every now and again, but like there was a period of time where I wasn't sure if how much more I was going to be able to do with indie stuff, and I got kind of a second wind here this past year, and I was like, you know what, let's go once more into the breach, see how this goes.
There you go, man. Well, ladies and
Excellent
gentlemen,
choice.
and I am envious of the name Michael Oden. Is that a real name or is that an anime name?
No, that is my legitimate name.
That's not your superhero name.
Nice.
That's straight up just like
Yeah,
I
it's
was
Michael
born.
Oden. That's been it since day one.
Did lightning strike the maternity room? Is that how you were born? Like you were born and lightning struck the room and.
No, but I was torn from my mother's womb, a la Macduff and Macbeth. C-section. Whatever.
Okay.
And then the nurse held him up by 1 foot upside down, plucked one of his eyes out, but it came back. It's fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
No, man, that was the trade-off with the last name. I gave up the I in there, and it got replaced with an E, so that I could still be Oden.
There you go.
That's freaking. Sorry, I looked at that name and I was like, that's so fucking cool.
I have been getting that like most of my life, where it's like, oh, Oden, right? Like that's really cool.
Yeah, because you can't really get. Dude, you can't really get made fun of for that name. Dude, my nickname in high school, predominantly because lights used to flicker around me a lot, but my nickname, because my last name is Sandon, I used to get, but my nickname in high school was Satan. So I was like, oh, and my buddies ran with that.
Would have been,
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
one
My
too.
buddies were like, "Oh yeah, you're Satan." I'm like, "No, stop." And the joke was because I was Catholic and I was very, very, very deep in my religion then, trying to get as connected as I was back then. But yeah, I walked into the lunchroom one day in high school and all the lights flickered and went out. And
That's
everybody,
amazing. That's great branding.
Dude, and everybody, here's the fucked up part. Everybody in the lunchroom was like, oh, not my buddy. My buddy's sitting at my table, looks up at the door, sees me walk in. The lights go out. As soon as the lights went out, he screams at the top of his, "Hi, Satan! Hi!" And I was like, you motherfucker. As loud as he fucking could. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
That's how it has to be done.
My nickname was Bieber, so
Why?
it could be worse.
Why?
Well, because my name is Justin. There's only like 2 Justins. Yeah.
Oh.
Some people, call me JT, like Timberlake, which that one's a little bit better. But Bieber, I'm like,
I would take Timberlake over Bieber any day.
Any day.
I agree. Oof.
There's not a lot of good Justins out there. Although JT, people, I'm like, you call me Trudeau because we're gonna fight. Like, so that one's a little dangerous too.
All right, so Daniel,
Noted.
Daniel, what was your nickname in high school?
Well,
Oh man, we got a story.
Oh.
You can't freaking back out now. You've got to tell.
It's game on.
yeah, but it also reveals a semi-secret at the same time.
Oh,
So-
that's even better
We're
then.
unlocking Daniel
Yeah,
lore.
you don't. That's
Okay.
What a,
Now, if
This
you
would be a
don't
good time
say-
for my internet to go out. Anyways,
God, he's
So-
us. Please don't let the internet go out.
so in junior high and high school, I was a crazy stoner.
Oh,
No.
I've
And
heard-
my
Wait, in
nickname,
junior high?
yeah, in junior high, I started way early.
Wow. How the hell
So-
am I the innocent one?
So my nickname around the school was Packy for 2 reasons.
Okay.
And one is because it's sort of generated off of my middle name and my baby brother. 2, because I smoked a lot of bowls and you packed those.
I mean, fair enough.
So my little brother used to hang out with me and my stoner friends sometimes when I had to watch him, and he couldn't say my middle name correctly when he was small because he was like a decade and a half after I was already,
Right.
motoring. So he would call me Packy. And it stuck with my stoner friends. And then one night we're all passing the bowl around, and one of them got the stoner moment, the transcendent enlightenment, and went, Packy. He packs the bowls, and that was it.
Well,
That is
fantastic.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, Oden, what was your nickname in high school?
Well, I went to a military high school, so my nickname was just Oden.
Yes,
That's what-
Miranda. I wore the poncho.
That's so creative.
Yeah, I know. Very creative. I know.
I knew a guy in high school. His last name was Baker, and we like his first name was we just his initial and his last name we called him G Bake. Like some people, their last names are just their nicknames. Yeah.
No,
That's
100%.
I guess if it's cool, like it's taken care of, you don't need anything else.
I know,
You
right?
got
Like
this
if you're born with a name that's just like easy for everybody to remember, it's just like, oh, we're just gonna refer to him as that. Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all. I was the Catholic kid that got called Satan.
Because
I would have thought. Yeah, I would have thought they would have went with like Royce the Choice, and then like what kind of choice?
I had a buddy of mine who was super into hip hop and rap. He used to call me Royce to 5'9". I was in his phone as Royce to 5'9". Like, which I was like, all right, like I'm cool with that, like But yeah, everybody else
would be Royce to 5'3". Would that be?
I don't know. Dude, 5'2" is all you get. You know that. You met me. 5'2" is all you get. It's really hard to be a little person manning a smoker. Like it was awkward for people to see that. They were like, "How did he
You're
jumps?"
5'2"?
No
way.
No, it's just fun lore.
I don't even know who started that. All right, so Jesus. So obviously tonight we're here to talk about The Embrace and The Embrace 2. That story is absolutely incredible. Before we get into the books and what you've got going on and the crowdfunds that you've got going on, Michael, give us a little bit of your background. Obviously, you're interested in writing this stuff and putting it out. Yeah. You're obviously trying to hide your co-host. You're trying to put him under the rug. He said it on Twitter.
That's definitely been the gag. It totally hasn't been that I've gone out of my way to make sure that
I was told that like he is like your dirty secret. You're just trying to keep him in the background, not give it. That's what Twitter told me. And if it's on, it used to be if it's on Facebook, it's true. Now if it's on Twitter, it's always true. It's never not.
Oh God. Well, so that's not accurate whatsoever, but we'll get to that part of the story.
But it's on Twitter.
I don't care.
Are you telling me that my life is a lie? Twitter is a lie? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Get it in life.
People would say Twitter isn't real.
Say it ain't so.
My stars.
Say it ain't so. And now I have Weezer stuck in my head. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, you're welcome. I guess.
Yeah. So where's?
Well played, Daniel.
All right. So I'm assuming that the journey of you creating your own comic book and your own stories doesn't start with you just waking up one day and going, I'm just going to write The Embrace. So, where does that whole thing start?
So I've always been kind of like a big comic fan. I grew up. I had two older brothers that showed me a lot of stuff that they probably shouldn't have when I was a kid.
Okay, hold on. Full stop. What's the one thing they showed you that sticks out in your mind that you're like, they should not have showed this to me when I was that
there's
young?
Too many. I saw Predator by the time I was 5. I saw the Spawn animated series by the time I was 5.
Oh.
I saw like you could just go to, they were in high school and they're my half brothers from my dad's first marriage. So
gotcha.
I got to see a lot of really cool shit that I had no right seeing when I was a kid. So
it's mental disability. That's how you got here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, PTSD.
Michael's basically.
Oh man, I've got this.
And now his internet goes.
So like back when I was a little kid, we had my oldest brother Gary. He was a professional rock climber before he went into the army.
Wow.
And so he we had a pull-up bar down in the basement that he used to jerry-rig into a swing for me and my sister using rock climbing equipment.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
so one of these times, both of my brothers are kind of pushing me on this swing, and I'm being an annoying ass little fucking kid. Oh, push harder, and they can't do that because it's a door frame, like a pull-up bar. And so they just get flustered with me at one point. And they go, "Okay, no, we're done. We're tired. We're gonna go to bed." And then they leave me hanging up in the harness on the pull-up bar. But this is just where the story starts to get good, because you see they turned off all the lights, went into their room, and they got into their Halloween costumes. My oldest brother was Freddy Krueger, and my middle brother Delk was the guy from Alien that got the face hugger on him. And they came out and harassed me and I was like screaming bloody murder. And they ran back in their room, got changed, came back out, turned on all the lights, and they're like, "Dude, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Monsters are trying to eat me." And they're just like, "Dude, monsters aren't real." And they repeated this 5 times. They did this 5 fucking times before they came back out half dressed, laughing their asses off. I ran upstairs. I did not come down to see them for like a week.
Oh my god!
But yeah, there's a nice little window into my childhood.
Wow. That's
now we understand the artwork.
Oh, of course. No,
I 1,000% get it now. I thought looking at some of the artwork, I was like, oh, he's definitely inspired by Spawn because a lot of people get Venom from it. I didn't get.
There's
that's an
Spawn.
easy.
Really, like for me, from the writing standpoint, this was supposed to be my James O'Barr's The Crow, and a lot of that had to do with where I was at my life at the time. But like to put you on that journey, I first got into like the industry as actually a freelance journalist. When I was deployed in 2015, 2016, I started writing articles for Movie Pilot, and I got noticed and got put through their verified creator program.
Where were you deployed?
Qatar. It was not an exciting deployment. It was 11 months of a paid vacation in the devil's asshole. It was the most uncomfortable experience I have ever had.
I've heard from a lot of guys in
it's fucking hot.
Even earlier there, I'm like people are like, yeah, I got deployed, and some guys, I'm like, oh shit, like what did you do? They're like, nothing. They're like, I ran a dozer the whole time. I'm
unless you were deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, like 2001 through 2010 ish, like you were probably sitting on a fob pulling security. That's what it is.
I heard from guys that were over there a little earlier, but they were like, dude, it was so hot. They're like, you'd go in the porta john and you would just leave the door open because it was so. They're like, you have no pride. You're just sitting there and people just walk by while you're just doing your business, and you're like, I don't care. It's 130 degrees. I am not closing the door to the porta john. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's like our first day in country. It was the big thing about Qatar that makes it suck that much more is it's not just a desert. It's right there by the coastline of the Gulf, right? So you get desert heat, beach humidity.
Man.
So it was
1,000 degrees, 1,000% humidity,
60% humidity. My first day in country. I walked outside, walked 10 feet in PTs to go to the mess hall, because during the daytime they have buses that go around all the base, because you're not supposed to walk during the daytime to do any of this stuff, because you're like every day is a heat cat red, right? Like they don't want you getting heat stroke. So like every single day you have to take these shuttles to get to the bus, or you'll get written to the mess halls, or you get written up. So like I step outside, walk maybe 20, 30 feet, and I'm fucking drenched. Like the hottest I've ever been in my life. I'm
from Colorado, and like I have no issues being in like hot and dry. Like I have so many people that are like, oh, I like the cold. I'm like, yeah, because you haven't had to fucking work in it. But I have talked with many people at this point in time. They're like, no, they're like, hot weather is good up until a point.
Yeah.
They're like, but when you add humidity to that, and I'm from Colorado,
It's
I
hell.
moved to
Yeah, it's
Iowa.
bad.
I moved to Iowa. I've never, dude, a humid day in Colorado is maybe 60%. Maybe. I moved to Iowa. Dude, my first day when it was 95 degrees outside with 85% humidity, I was like,
It's miserable.
what is this? This is hell.
Dude,
There's
I
and you
live
can't
in Northern Virginia, man. Like,
Dude,
it's
you-
irrigated swampland. Like,
You
that's
can't-
what it is.
there's no shade.
swamp, man.
Shade
It's swamp.
shade is just darker day. It doesn't get rid of the heat. In Colorado, you could step into the shade and immediately
Feel some relief.
Yeah, feel some
I had that when we
like,
were in El
oh.
Paso for when we were in El Paso for like our pre-deployment training and everything like that. Like all of us were like we were a Virginia Guard unit. So like all of us were native to Virginia and we're dealing with the humid heat. And this is the first time we were like, oh man, there is actually a difference between dry and humid heat. Because like when you're out in the summer doing freaking training and it's humid as balls out and you're just trying to sit under a tree and get some relief, it just still sucks. But like when we're in El Paso, like it's getting up into the hundies, but like you sit under a shade and you're like, oh, this is a nice, there's a nice difference to this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it is humidity. I'd not experienced it, and well, to that degree, but being out, it is the craziest thing because oh God, no! Where'd he go?
Daniel abandoned us.
All right, F's
What
in the
bastard.
chat for everybody. Say prayers for Daniel, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to take a moment to solemnly think about Daniel P. Riley. He was a great host. He was a good host.
good.
Sometimes he was a quiet host. Other times he was a drunk host.
So true.
Other times he was a slouching in chair host. Those are our favorite times. Those are the wonderful moments. He was here. He was here a lot, and nobody can discount how he was here. Is this joke going too long? Did I take it too far?
I think
Okay.
I think we've
They're
gone.
good whenever they go too long. Like Norm's
Yeah.
moth joke. It's like 12 minutes. It just keeps going. That's whenever they're.
Oh man. Oh, I don't even know. It feels disrespectful for me to continue on with my bio after losing Daniel so soon.
This guy.
It's what Daniel would want.
It's so true.
Well, if
Even told us.
you put it like that, to go back to it, I was deployed and writing with Movie Pilot. I got discovered for their verified creator program.
Nice.
Went
That's
through
awesome.
that. I worked for Heroic Hollywood for like 2 weeks. It was the most miserable experience of my life.
That's saying something.
Oh, dude,
I'm reading the chat.
it was terrible.
Like, send me back to Qatar. Send me back.
But like so that was terrible. And then I started my own blog for a little bit. Then I got picked up by another like indie blog called Up Your Geek, where I wrote for a couple of years. And through all of this, every now and again, as I'm writing these critiques of the Snyderverse, this or whatever's going on with that, and doing comic book reviews and what have you, I get occasional comments, hey, why don't you make your own books? And my answer would always be like, well, I mean, it's not that easy. Like especially when you're looking at the mainstream, like you look at image, like. So Marvel and DC don't take any unsolicited pitches from writers whatsoever.
Nope.
None.
Nope.
Which there are legal reasons for, and I get it. But then Image, Boom, Dark Horse, all of these other ones that are like the indie prints for the mainstream. As a writer, you can't just turn in a script. You have to bring in 6 pages of completed art along with like a full log line and story outline for everything that you want to do, and they prefer if the book's already done. So at that point, you're pretty much already making your own fucking book, so why not? And I wasn't in a position to do it. And then 2019, 2020, the pandemic broke out, and I was going through a little bit of a rough spot in my own life. My marriage was starting to kind of go down in the dumps. I got separated, and we have a kid. So like I to kind of balance that, I had been working on a script for a while, and so with the pandemic starting up and Biden bucks and everything like that, like we were able to I was able to take that and actually invest it. And so I did my first book, which is Elysian Fields. And I crowdfunded it on Indiegogo, and it was a lightning in a bottle kind of moment. I ended up succeeding in that. We raised a little bit under 10K, and I got the books out way ahead of schedule. We got a lot of really great feedback, and so I invested all of the profits that I made into the next book, which promptly made nothing. We lost a lot of money on Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit. And so at that point, I was kind of ready to, hang up the towel, because things were getting kind of messy with the divorce, and custody was becoming a big issue. And that's where the embrace really came from, was, I was at this point where you're being a single dad going into a divorce case, and anywhere really, everything that you read it's a stacked deck against you, right? Like there is not a lot of hope on that. And I was fortunate, I am not in that. I ended up winning primary custody of my kid. But like at that point in time, I felt helpless. And like my kid was going back and forth, having to be driven, I think it was 2.5, almost 3 hours between each of our houses, because they had moved into Culpeper, I had moved down into Aldi, which was a long drive, and he was going back every 3 or 4 days. And so it was just one of these things where it was a really rough time for me. And that's when I had the idea of doing this book, where I had recently done a reread of James O'Barr's The Crow, which is one of my favorite graphic novels, specifically the 10th anniversary edition. It's beautiful, makes me weep manly tears of sadness every single time I get through it.
Right. I like what Fat Electrician says. My house is infested with onion cutting ninjas.
Of course, absolutely. But so I decided that I really wanted to do this book. And this is actually where Dean James comes in, because initially I wanted to do the embrace in black and white, but I couldn't visualize the character, so I couldn't write the script. I knew that I wanted to do this story about a father who loses his son, and that they come together and become this superhero, but I couldn't see the character, right? And so I was hitting up a few friends, and I was giving them the basic log line of what the embrace was going to be. And I was like, I want to do this in black and white. And then a mutual friend of Dean and I's, Lee Byron Carver, who does a book called The Company Men. Hi, she is awesome. I like it. So I met her on a Drawn Quarter show years ago.
That show's awesome.
She's fantastic people.
I love R.H. Snow. She is amazing.
Yeah, but so she actually drew a fantastic Pompey Magnus at the time. I was actually promoting my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure parody manga, where I made it Roman history mixed with JoJo. And so she drew Pompey Magnus, and I was like, that's a very good portrait of Pompey Magnus. Good job. But anyways, so Lee told me about Dean and was like, he's predominantly worked as a tattoo artist. He hasn't done any comics yet, but I think he has a really strong grasp over his contrasts and lights and darks. And so I got in touch with Dean, and I kind of told him what I was doing, what I was looking for, and visually what kind of references I wanted to go for with it. And he and I were talking back and forth for about a week, and then he did the first character sketch, and it was almost perfect. And that was when I was like, all right, this is what I want. We gave some minor notes, and then I asked him if he wanted to do the book. And so that's the big reason why I gave him the co-creator credit, is because once I had that image, I had my first pass of the script within a week.
That's cool.
Like I had like once I saw him, and then it was like this is the character, this is how he's going to look, and I could visualize like because I knew like the big things that I knew I wanted the hands motif because like the ghost hands, they're not just like there to look cool, they're there to be representative of David's hands protecting his father, right? So like I knew that I wanted all of that stuff in there in the design. It was just I couldn't see it, and once I did, it was like I knew exactly how I wanted to structure everything. Everything just came through, and I had my first draft within a week, and then we got Lee again. Worked with him, and he was the editor on the book. We kind of restructured some things, and within a month, we had the final draft ready to go, and Dean was working on interiors.
So, and I have to bring this up because the first time that I saw this, and I don't remember if it was the first time that you had posted it on the Wednesday thread, but I know that it was the first time that we looked at it. That page where your main character goes into the graveyard and meets.
It's not the graveyard, actually.
Well,
that's so like it.
But he goes.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and his son appears to him, dude, as a father. That was I almost started tearing up on stream because as a father of 4 kids, I actually had to. Thank God I didn't have to go full blown CPR, but I did have to pull my daughter back from a drowning incident. So immediately when the son, who is a ghost at this point, tells his dad, "I'm sorry," and his dad says, "For what?" I was like, "Oh, I can't." Like I had to move past that on stream because I was like, I saw
so I didn't get to see that one live. Dean was actually in the chat there, being like cheering me on. I think I popped in like very briefly, but I was up to something that night. I watched the replay and I was like, oh man. Like the first 8 pages of the embrace hit you like a runaway ice cream truck emotionally. And so where Clarence isn't actually the graveyard. It's the last place he was with his son. It's the place where his son was killed.
And maybe that's what my brain's just turning it into a graveyard.
No, it's very easy to do that because there is a little placard, like a little memorial placard that's there.
Okay.
And so and you know the place that actually is a real place. It's Huntington Metro Station in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh,
so a lot of the embrace. When I was going through a lot of this time, I was living in Alexandria. That was where I had lived after I moved out of my folks' place, where I met my ex. That's where James was born in Inova Alexandria Hospital. Right, than my son. So like Alexandria, I wanted this book to be like kind of the embodiment of everything that I had gone through, right? From like that storytelling aspect, and there was also a lot of other things that kind of went into that, like the story of David and Clarence. I don't know if you know this about. Oh my God, Justin, you okay, man? God, we almost lost Justin too. Jesus. It's cursed, I tell you. Anyways. And so oh man.
Sorry.
So what
Justin, don't all right, Justin.
I am
he
so
was
sorry.
Saddened. He was so saddened by DPR leaving us that he decided he was going to leave us as well and go join him. Thankfully,
my
it was a
shelf
failed
moment,
attempt.
I think.
It was a failed. Justin, don't leave us. It's okay.
It's okay. The story
Daniel,
gets better.
Still,
okay?
Daniel is still here with us
Yeah, I'm like,
in spirit.
It's too much for me. I can't even swallow properly anymore. It's just
it's okay, man. But
I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
It's all good, man. We're just gonna give you endless shit about it the rest of the stream. That's how it goes.
That would be great. I would appreciate that.
It's all like I could still hear Daniel's voice in the chat.
If I can continue without Justin choking on his drink like a little bitch,
Thank you. I got no promises. No promises. Drinking's hard. I've only been at it for like
fair enough, man. You just gotta
40
swallow.
years.
You gotta swallow fluids.
Every time I drink water, it is the shittiest thing. Every time I drink water, I choke on fucking. Never happens when I drink beer, but when I drink water, water's trying to kill me. My wife.
Insane.
Yeah, it sucks. I drink water every day, and it almost kills me. And then I drink beer, and I'm perfectly fine.
You've got to get through that gallon a day. You're part of the challenge, right?
I am usually at about a half gallon a day. Like legitimately, like not even a lie. I'm usually at a half gallon a day.
You're just choking the whole time. All right.
It's terrible. It's horrible.
Oh,
I've actually between noon and 4, I've actually drank a gallon and a half of water before, which is, yeah, it was really hot that day.
That's awesome.
It was very, very warm.
That just means you were really hydrated, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I was really tired too at the end of that. Turns out when you drink that much water that close together, it's actually not good for you. Who would have thought that?
That can lead to what's called overhydration, and you literally have to treat you like you're dehydrated. Like it's the same symptoms and everything. It sucks.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
We had a guy do that at basic, and they had to have the magic popsicle given to them.
The magic popsicle. That sounds fun.
Magic popsicle. I've heard of the magic popsicle. It's basically electrolytes on crack.
Well, it's given to you in a not so pleasant way.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Rammed right up.
That. Yeah, because the colon absorbs the popsicle better than the mouth.
And it's cold.
Yep.
Oh boy!
To reduce your body temperature and get the electrolytes into your system as fast as possible.
Well, I don't want the magic popsicle that way. That's weird. I know some people who were given them the popsicle and they could just like eat it normally. I've not known any. I have only heard stories of people who were not so lucky and they had to take the magic popsicle the gay way.
Yeah.
There
is only one way to take the magic popsicle.
I've heard of others.
I was gonna say the straight way. What's this popsicle shaped like?
Well,
but anyway,
what the fuck am I thinking of? I know guys that were like, they were like, I'm super dehydrated, and they gave me a popsicle that I was able to like eat.
I mean, they probably were just given a popsicle because it's got the sugar and everything.
Maybe that's
in
what
it. If they're dehydrated, it's just icy. But
Yeah.
there is straight up like it looks like a giant popsicle, and they just ram it right up you
with the stick and everything.
It's not like an actual popsicle, but
Does it have a joke on one side and the punchline, and we have to get rid of it? You know?
I'll try and find a picture for you guys at another point. But
I'm good. I'm good. I've seen things on the internet, and I don't. That's one of the things that I've not seen on the internet.
You don't have to see it in use. You can see it before use. Just like
it's okay.
just put it on a table away from
But
you.
it's just a pops. It's just. It's just an 18 and a half inch long or whatever. However, I don't know how long.
I'll post a video of it.
Oh God.
On Twitter and tag you in it. It's okay.
Please no. I don't.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Anybody ever wondered how bad our government fucks our military men and women?
We're not that's not in that discussion. That's a whole other thing. Like if we want to talk about that, I can talk about my VA claims shenanigans I've been dealing with for the past couple of years. But we're not going to go into that.
Did you hear what the VA did to veteran with a sign?
No,
did you hear that whole thing? Dude, it's nuts, man.
Oh, God.
They paint,
I'm sure. Dude, a couple of years ago, I was finishing my bachelor's and I was taking this digital information literacy course, and I did my presentation on the veteran suicide rate and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And so the thing that was like very, I don't want to say humorous, but it made me chuckle, was like the VA does like an annual evaluation on this as a problem and taking a look at it. And they're like, over 60% of the people doing this have open VA claims, and we have no clue why. We don't understand the correlation. I was just like, it was like the 2019 one.
I don't know.
I was just like,
guys,
I don't.
These guys, they're self-deleting. They all have open clip. We have no idea what's causing it. We have no clue. We just why are people with open VA claims just we don't know. What's the correlation here? Fuck me, God, I hate government.
Oh man.
Yep.
But anyways, going back to the book. Segue, very smooth segue. I know.
This is part of the show, dude. We are going to tangent like a mother, because you know what?
Dude, I'm having a blast.
Dude,
that's the thing. Yeah, we're getting to know your personality though, like the way you interact and stuff. I mean, that sells people.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. I will tell, and I've told people this so many times. It's not my job to sell your book. That's your job. My job is to sell you, right? Because
it always sounds bad every time you say that.
Yeah, I know, but it's
but like that's he is legitimately right, and like this is the whole thing. Is like at the end of the day, there is nobody who can sell what I am doing better than me, because I understand it better than anyone else.
It's true.
But like part of these shows is coming on here and it's connecting with the hosts, and by extension, connecting with the chat, who are the people who are potentially going to invest in what I'm doing. If I come off as some stick in the mud that's not going to have any fun and not play along and just like, but seriously, guys, but seriously, but my book. No one can, like, the book's nice. You can go look at it. The link's in the chat probably somewhere. Nice. I'm sure we'll do a share screen.
I can get the link in the chat right now.
Like I'm sure we'll do a share screen at some point. I'll even show off some recently colored pages we got from the Embrace 2 and the Elysian Fields Reborn preview that's up there for $10. I can do that on my own. Right now, we're just having fun shooting the shit.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things is that, dude, because we have done this before, and we've asked the chat, like, hey, how much of the show so we're usually live for like 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And we usually would save, like, back when the show was on like the monetized channel, I had to move it because live streams and videos just don't work. YouTube, the way that the algorithm works, just doesn't do lives, shorts, and regular videos all on the same channel. They've got to be separate channels. But anyway, when we were on that channel, it was like, hey, so we do about 90 minutes every week where we're talking with the host. The other 30 minutes is usually we're just shooting the shit with super chats and talking and doing that. And we're like, out of the 90 minutes that we talk with the person, like, how much of that do you want to hear about the book? Like, out of 90 minutes, out of an hour and a half?
I would guess max 20.
Yeah, that's legitimately what it came down to. Like, people are like I want to hear about the project about 20 minutes out of the 90 minutes.
This isn't a launch stream, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like that's the whole thing. Like there are definitely streams where like that's the point. Like if you're doing a launch or closeout stream, absolutely, it should all be about the book and all be about, hey, who's the latest backer and cheering every single time that shit happens. But when you're on an actual stream, you have conversations, you get involved with that, because like that's what's entertaining. Right.
Well,
and people are here to be entertained.
And also because people are so mistrusting of a lot of the mainstream, like DC, Marvel, you said Image earlier. A lot of these guys are just not doing justice to the brands that people grew up with and they know and love. And it's like, people are like, I don't want to give my money to somebody that I don't at least know, that I don't like. And that's where a lot of this is now. A lot of people are looking to spend their dollars with people that they go, okay, I might not agree with him on everything, but he doesn't hate me. He's willing to jump.
I think that's the important thing, because like what it comes down to is ultimately all of those companies are still putting out a solid amount of good books. Like I go and I like anybody who's working in comics that isn't reading titles that are going on right now is doing themselves a disservice, because it's just as important to read good books as it is to read bad books. You need to know both, because you need to know okay, this is what's being done right, this is what's being done wrong, and you also need to stay current with what like trends are being done in terms of like your layouts and everything like that. So, but like there are still plenty of good books being put out by these companies. But the biggest problem is that you have the creators that are involved with them that are nasty to people.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go and support something when you've got somebody that's literally trying to ensure that an indie creator fails. Right?
Yeah.
Like not to name names or point fingers or what have you, but like that's actively a thing that's happened in the past 10 years. And
it's like Jesus came back from the dead.
Oh my goodness, he's
I'm
alive.
not dead.
He has risen.
It's Ghost Daniel, watch out.
Oh my God. Casper, the friendly ghost. The friendliest ghost you know.
But that's ultimately what it comes down to, is that there are still solid books out there, but it's hard to even want to buy them because everyone talks about how great World's Finest by Dan Mora and Mark Waid is, but like it's kind of hard to go support that when Mark Waid has repeatedly showed himself to be a bully and doesn't really consider a middle ground in terms of talking points and people's beliefs.
Yeah.
And so that becomes a problem. And yeah.
Here's the problem too, is that it's seeping into the indie world so badly too, is that
Seeping?
Well,
Seeping.
It's all the like
it is, and
It's human condition, man.
It is, and that's one of the biggest. People are trying to do that, like draw their ideological line in the sand in the indie world. Like, I'm this guy and I'm against this person because of pick a fucking reason. It's Sunday, it's Tuesday. Who gives a shit?
Make books. We're in the indie space. It's already it's already niche enough.
Like here's why I
it
think
must be more niche.
Here's why
and
I think
all
it's
the niche
utterly,
belongs to me.
Well, here's
just
why I think
me.
Here's why I think it's retarded. And here's why I think a lot of these guys, it's like, okay, so you had people who would go to comic shops every single Wednesday and spend hundreds of dollars on books, and
sometimes thousands, man.
Oh,
I know people with like 40, 50 title pull lists.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here's the thing: a lot of those guys have left just
Average
the
pull list is
mainstream
8 to
comics,
12.
and it's like, here's the deal: you're gonna put out one book every quarter. Let's just say every quarter. Let's just say somebody doing a comic every quarter,
Well, look,
right? So
that's
you're gonna
me.
you're gonna get 4 books a year, okay? But there are people out there who still have that expendable hundreds of dollars every single fucking week. It's like, why? Like, if you're an indie guy and you're like, hey, you bought my book, thank you so much. Well, guess what? It's going to take me some time as an indie to get that next book out. But you know what? I really liked this book. If you bought my book and you've got expendable cash, and you can see the people who are constantly working to not just be like, hey, in the meantime, if you can't buy my book, go buy this guy's book. That works. And it works very well because these people are like, I need something to read in the middle. I need something to spend money on every single Wednesday like I fucking used to. And there are not enough indies out there right now to satiate, not good indies, I should say. There are probably enough indies, but good indie creators.
That's the other drawback.
To satiate.
Well, that is the massive drawback, is because over the past 5 or 6 years, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but we have had a massive influx of content to the point where there is so much bad amidst the small amount of good books. I have backed, let me look at my Indiegogo, and this is just on Indiegogo.
Hey, I have one of those up.
Let me
It's true.
pull up my profile. My contributions.
Oh boy.
I have
$1
backed
million.
115 contributions. So I have backed 115 comic book campaigns. Of those, there are at least a dozen that still haven't fulfilled. That's another big problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up. Bad faith.
And
Yep.
from the ones that have fulfilled, of those 115, of which we have to take rid of, to be conservative, we'll get rid of 10. So
Right.
10 have not gotten to me. So of the 105 remaining, 20 have been worth the money that I have paid for.
And that's the gambit that you run. You know, and that's one of the things that I've even told people on this show is like, guys, here's the number one thing I want to hear from anybody who is creating. I want to hear, hey guys, the book is done. All I need to do is get the money for printers. And and here is my reasoning behind that. Is because I have seen, because I came into this very late in the game. I'm not going to pretend I've been here forever, not even, but when I got into it, I got passionate about it, and I got passionate real fucking quick. But when I looked at a lot of the problems that were out there, and when I hear somebody say, the book is done, I'm like, okay, so if that is one hurdle for me that I don't have to go, oh, I'm going to give him money so he can get the book done. It's like, no, the book is done. I'm going to give him money so he can just pay the printer. And presumably there's one hurdle that's out of the way, and he already shouldered most of the burden in order to just get his book out there, for his or her book out there to people. And I'm not saying that necessarily has to be the standard across the board, but damn it if that's not a good selling point.
That is optimally, you are correct. If a creator can afford it, they need to have the book completed. That being said, there is something to be said for it. Like, I am fine if because the other big thing here is why should I invest in you if you have not invested in yourself, right? If you have not taken the time to invest in what you're doing and have something, why should I invest in you? Which is why I personally think that, like, I have gotten to a point where I will not back a campaign if I know that it has less than a quarter to half done. If you
that's good.
Because like at that point, okay, you've put the money in, and they're like so long as they're good with the communication, that's where people get screwed, right? If you've got the book and you're managing the production timeline and everything like that, and you get holdups, whether it's, oh, I lost a colorist, or my artist got sick, right? That's where you need to be upfront with your audience. Like, I have been doing this for almost 5 years. I have done 6 books. All of them have fulfilled. But what I will say is that there have been delays on certain things. SPQR, which I did 2 years ago, I was literally right about to start fulfillment. I had all the books printed. I was waiting for extras to come in. I lost my job.
No.
What I'm saying, what I'm getting to here is, I had to take a step back. I let my audience know that. And every single person went, hey, that's okay. Take time to do you. And then once I got back on the horse, within a month, I had set the money aside to get everything fulfilled, and we were good. That's what it comes down to, is the communication aspect.
What is the word? And those are, I keep wanting to say like extra circumstantial. I can't, there's a word for that. You guys as writers should know the word that I'm going for. But those are the like extra things that can happen. I'm saying that as
I'm dead. I can't help you.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, well, unforeseen circumstances, obviously. No, there's a different word. I'll go get my dictionary and I'll look it up here in a minute. No, like legit, it sounds funny, but I do that because...
No, I have it happen to me all the time. There was even a moment at this stream where I was fighting to find the word. I was like, no, I know this.
I'm like, I know this word. And I'm like, fuck it. I'll just use the drunk version of the word, extra circumstantial. That's what I'm going with. Because, but those things happen, and it's fine for those things to happen. But what I don't like is when people are like, I'm going to launch this project. The book
extenuating. Thank you, Jersey.
Extenuating circumstances. Thank you, Jersey. I appreciate you. Kind of. You're still a miscreant or a delinquent. I don't know which one you are tonight. I only have a few.
Little column A, little column B, right? I do want to say, Faith Thomas, I've seen your comments. I am mulling over, especially your last question that you put out to me. In terms of you writing 3 books, 3 tributary comics, I'm not sure what you mean by tributary. Like as in, are you they're meant to be a tribute to somebody? I mean, if they're meant to be a tribute to somebody, just follow what your heart's telling you on it. Like, if you're looking to write a story for somebody else, I mean, that's really all you can do is let the emotions that you feel towards them guide your process. And in terms of any advice that I have for you navigating the indie scene as a female independent writer, I will have to get back to you on that, because there's a whole aspect of that I can't really speak to, because there is a fundamental difference between being a male writer in the indie scene and a female one, and I don't know if I can offer you the proper perspective on it, but I will do my best.
No, and that is actually something that is actually something that's very true. And it's one thing I will say that I have noticed that seems to be unanimous between male and female writers is the excitement for your project. If you, and that is I don't care if you're guy, girl, or some Zer or whatever, but I try not to have them on the channel. But anyway, but it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. If you are excited for your project and you come out swinging and you're like, I love my project, I love what I'm doing, I want to talk about my project, you will get people excited for you. There is a way that transfers to other people that I cannot describe. I can tell you,
enthusiasm is infectious.
Yeah. Well, dude, I have these guys have heard me say it many times here on the stream. There are times before I go live when I'm just like, man, I am dead tired of the world. I was up at 4:00 this morning. I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up. I was dead tired. But the fucking ball joint went out on my wife's car. I'm stressed. I'm like, what the fuck? How am I going to do this? We start bullshitting behind stream. I'm still tired. All of a sudden, chat starts rolling in. We go live. I see it's weird. I can feel the excitement from chat. I can feel how everybody here is just energized. Daniel, I don't know. He drinks. I don't know. Daniel just stares at me with like
when something's actually exciting, I'll be excited about it.
Oh, fuck you, motherfucker. This is our show. It's exciting every Friday.
Impress me, bitches.
I need somebody to make an anime out of our show. That would be, I just need somebody, like the Joe Rogan animated clips. I need somebody to animate the funniest shit from our show. Anyway, fuck you, Daniel. But there is something about that. Be excited for what you're doing and be willing to talk about it and willing to share that with people. That is infectious. You have no idea how infectious that is. And as somebody who I have been told recently, I am surrounded by a bunch of introverts. And I am the guy that's like, no, let's bring all the introverts on the show. And they're just like, wait, what? I'm like, no, be excited, guys. Talk about it. Be like, you know, don't be like, oh, hey, I don't want to talk too much on my interview that you're giving me on Friday night. Fucking go for it. Balls to the walls. Like, whatever energy you have, give that to everybody out there, because that's what people want. We want that thing that draws us in. And honestly, I'll say this, Oden, you got a good one, dude. You've got that energy, and it's fucking awesome.
I try.
that builds so much too, because it makes this show more enjoyable. Maybe you get more backers, and then maybe somebody else is inspired by that bit right there. They go on another show, they bring that energy, it hypes up that crowd, and then this excitement builds and builds in little increments, and it feeds off of itself, and it continues growing. And that's like the best way to make these things grow, is bringing that excitement whenever you're on any stream and just doing your best. And so thank you for doing that.
Oh, dude, it's my pleasure. One of the big lessons that I learned very early in indie comics was, I remember there was as I said, my second book, Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit, did not do well.
No shit.
I remember there was this one stream where I was promoting, and like everyone on the panel could tell that I was just done. I looked like haggard and exhausted, and I was like really upset. And so we get off the stream, and the host just goes, "Hey man, stay back for a sec." I was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Honestly, no." And I like broke down everything. It was like, "All right, so I get your frustration, but here's the deal. It doesn't matter how bad the ship's on fire, everything's great. And because if you let people see that this is that this has gotten to your head and everything like that, it's going to dissuade them from backing you, because they're like, because as I said, enthusiasm is infectious, but so is caution. And so if you see the guy that's supposed to be there promoting his book, and he just looks like he really wishes he could be anywhere else, that's a red flag, and that's going to spread.
Yep. And the other thing is, the enthusiasm is not disingenuous either. There's some people, and they're like, oh, it's performative or whatever. It's like, no. It's just about, there's that moment in the creation or the process where that hype is absolutely real. There's a lot riding on the line on this, and you wouldn't do it if you didn't have that feeling. And it's just about trying to find that again, no matter what is going on in life, whenever you're on stream, whenever you're doing whatever, finding that again and just bringing that back up, and it's getting it genuine. Just like his voice is genuine. This man in real life is the same guy. It's weird.
It's weird.
It is, because it's like there's this.
I got told that to my face.
Yeah, you think it's like, it feels, it's weird,
4 times in 2 days. They were like, yeah, really thought you were going to be different.
Dean James is triggering me in the chat.
No,
oh man,
you're not.
Like, there's a classic yet tragic stream where Oden's campaign ends, and he was like $10 away from funding. And you can pinpoint the moment where his heart breaks. Yeah, so that was like my first.
Wait, Comics Mate is Dean James?
Yep, that's him.
Oh, hi,
James Dean.
Dude, he's been here. No, Dean James. He's no. What?
He's the artist of the Embrace, my co-creator.
No, dude, he's been
Mr.
hanging
Bill
out on
himself.
Dude, he's been hanging out on the streams for a while.
Yeah, he's good people.
Well, everybody has internet names, and I'm gonna be honest. There are people who came to the barbecue who were a part of this chat. I still don't know their real names. That would be Bat Sauce, and that would be Sea Bats. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't remember Sea Bats' name, so I called her Lady Bats.
That's
and
amazing.
Then I found out that they were also expecting a baby Bats, and I was like, oh my god! So I didn't. Yeah, that weekend.
That's just the lore now.
It's just the lore. We have a Bats, a Lady Bats, and then they did some crazy vampire shit. And now they got a baby Bats coming. I don't know how that works, but it works like that.
But
allegedly.
Allegedly.
I will say, it's always a pleasure seeing Dean in the chat, even when he gives me guff on Twitter and tries to make it out like he's the Bill Finger to my Bob Kane, which is not accurate at all.
No, I saw it on Twitter. It's all 100% true. It's 100%.
No,
you're trying to bury him, hide him away. He's the real talent of the book. What else did I see?
Son of a bitch. Okay. Anyway,
Don't Bob Kane me, bro.
but
Here's-
this has
okay.
been like our
This
has been one of our best sticks since we started promoting, because like the Embrace one was Dean's first book, and the art in it is good. Let me tell you, the art in the Embrace 2, it's like Dean is a glass ceiling, and the more that he works on this book, the better he gets.
Oh.
And
Dean wasn't
it's
as
like
good
really,
in the Embrace one. That's what I just heard right now. Like,
of course, that's totally what I meant. But like it was really fun. It was really fun though, because when we first started doing the Embrace one, I had already done 2 books, and so people knew who I was. And so his shtick to kind of get involved was people would be doing like, oh, come hang out with us as we talk with Michael Oden about his new book, The Embrace. And so he literally made this. Oh man, Dean, comment on this thing on Twitter on where it's at with your Bob Kane video, because that shit was hilarious. But it's like literally like him looking at like his little animated icon, looking at like a Michael Oden's new book, The Embrace, and like this song playing in the background going, we're just the same, and then it fades into Bill Finger. I was just like,
I'm gonna be like, from what I heard is that he actually created the Embrace.
Oh my god!
But he was introverted and just wanted somebody to help him promote. So you decided to help him promote.
So now you're making me Jobs to Wozniak. I'm
just I'm just saying, like. I can turn this story into whatever the fuck I want to at this point, because I love this shit out of this. It's fucking great. No, here's the thing. I've seen like none of this on Twitter. I'm just saying I've seen it all on fucking Twitter.
If it's on Twitter, it must be true, I guess. Whatever.
And if I say it's on Twitter, you're never going to be able to find it because, well, fuck, who knows? It might... It was deleted. It was a hidden post. You got to subscribe.
Dude, it's funny. I saw some of the back and forth going on with you and him, and talking about the stream too. And he's like, "What am I, chopped liver?" And I thought he was actually upset. So I was like, "No, dude, chopped liver is great. It's way better than unchopped liver. Like, you're good." Now it's like, oh, it's a thing. Okay.
Wait, you didn't know that was a joke?
No, I didn't know.
Dude, I knew that was a joke the second that I saw it.
Yeah,
but he legitimately came up with the
Justin's our sweet summer child.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. The blabs.
Oh, how naive you are, sweet summer child. It's okay.
Oh god.
Just go into the corner. All will be well.
There goes my good deed for the day too.
So
I was like,
really quickly, Christian Magram, because I've seen his name several times. The Ultimate Kahuna sends in a 420 super chat through PayPal. He says, Oden, what is your favorite comic aesthetic and style? Have you enjoyed French or Italian comics? I like Bouncer Oko and much more myself. Also, Royce Escape. Fuck you, Kahuna.
That is tough, man. Like I really try to like dabble in everything in terms of like aesthetic. Like there are definitely some things where I just like, yeah, that's not for me. But like, I mean, you know, it is funny that he mentions if I've ever looked at French or Italian, because the Kickstarter got canceled here today, but I was brought on to translate a bande dessinée that they were going to do, that they did a Kickstarter for this book called Oden, which is like the Norse Edda told through the perspective of the Allfather, and the art was beautiful. And I do really like that like very like painted, hyper realistic style and everything that the French and European comics do. You know, I'm big into manga. I've read all of Berserk 3 times. Yeah, man, I love, like, I could write like a dissertation on Berserk at this point.
I have been just recently, before I go, because it's
so can everybody else on the internet.
But yeah. I have heard about Berserk. Sorry, I was gonna go because anyway. But
what are you waiting for?
So the Berserk thing is so interesting because I've heard so many people talk about it and talk about how good it is. So I've actually been listening to just breakdowns of it, and I feel like even as good as the breakdowns are, then they're like 10 hours long.
Yeah,
like,
no, it doesn't scratch the surface.
Well,
Like Mura,
and that's what I'm getting at is like, well, I have a lot of outdoor projects like building sheds, building smokers, like, you know, working on cars and stuff. And so I need stuff to listen to that I can just put on and listen to. So I find like, I'm like, oh, hey, Berserk. Oh, 10-hour video. I've got 12 hours of work. Fuck it. Let's put it on and listen to it while I work. And I listen to this whole thing and I'm like, holy shit. Like, Berserk,
dude, it's insane.
Berserk is not something that I would binge because there's so much.
You wouldn't want to binge it. No, you wouldn't want to binge it anyway because it's
the heavy.
Anime
it's really. No. I saw the 3 movies from 90s.
So there was the 3 movies were produced by Netflix and were in the 2010s. The 90s had a limited series that ran for 13 episodes. I have the collection of that over on my shelf somewhere. And
what was the one that covered the arc with just like the 3 characters?
You're talking about Golden Age, and Golden Age has been adapted twice. There was a series in 1997 in like the 1990s that was like, I want to say 12 or 13 episodes, and then there were the 3 movies done by Netflix in co-production with I'm blanking on what the Japanese,
but not the 3D looking ones. The specific ones that I saw had like the 90, but it was. I swear, maybe it was the Golden Arc, but it was
25 episodes from 97. Thank you, Guilty Gear.
Was it the 3? Did they put those into just like movies? Did they take the 25
No,
episodes?
So the ones that were done on Netflix were a combination of 2D and 3D animation. Armor pieces were generally 3D animated, but all characters were hand drawn. The god awful, dismal 2016-2018 version of Berserk, which. And I use this with the largest asterisk on the face of the planet. Adapted Black Swordsman.
I've heard it was bad. I've heard it was bad.
It's. You want to know what was the most frustrating part about it? Is not just was the animation of that show dog shit because of the 3D animation. The openers were all 2D hand drawn and were drop dead fucking gorgeous and were the best parts of the show. So you would literally go, "Oh man, this opener is so good." It's like tricking people to read a Ta-Nehisi Coates Captain America run with Alex Ross brothers. Oops, did I say that? Anyways, that's it. But that's literally what they did. It was beyond maddening.
It is. It's one of those. It's one of those stories. It's like, okay, like if I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna have to buy the manga. And the problem is I don't buy digital. I will have to buy the physical, but I also don't want to buy something like that and keep it where the kids can potentially read it.
Oh yeah, dude, I've got all of the Berserk manga and stuff is like up on my like top shelf. No one can get to it except for me because I'm tall.
Yeah. No, I would have to put it in my studio here because the kids do not come into the studio unless I tell them like, hey, go get like my sunglasses that I left on my desk. But dude, I really got to go pee. That's why I was going to leave earlier. But what I was trying to say is
get a bottle under the desk.
I'm not gonna fucking Jesus, dude. I'm not
just use one of the White Claws.
If you want to be classy, you could get a bucket. Just have a seat that's just ready to
just go. Use one of the White Claws and get it over with.
It's not muted. But no, but dude, Berserk is one of those things that's so interesting to me that like I'm like kind of dipping I've dipped the toe in for like years. No, I know it's going to happen, but I need to have time, or I need these motherfuckers to adapt it into a full-blown fucking anime.
So you are in luck. So you are actually in luck. There is a fan animation studio called Studio Eclipse that is adapting everything from Black Swordsman on. The first episode drops next summer. It looks fucking stellar, and the English dub is a chef's kiss. Like the guy they've got voicing Guts. Like when you hear his line delivery in the trailer, chills. Like it's so good. Like I am very impressed. Like for a fan,
how did they get the rights for this?
They aren't. They're doing it completely nonprofit. They are doing this as a passion project because they are
that's
pissed.
how they're not going to get past it because it's nonprofit. That's fucking great.
They're posting it all for free on YouTube.
Wow.
I'm going to want
think
to see
we
this
need to
because
ban Kahuna.
I'm
What did Kahuna do?
Kahuna. So Kahuna was at the barbecue, and here's the weird part about Kahuna. So somehow a beer got exploded on his shirt.
It was a fruity drink. It wasn't a beer. It was all sticky.
It was a fruity drink.
Yeah.
So he took his shirt off. The strange part is everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that should be." He is that guy that we're just like, why does he have his shirt on? As soon as he took his shirt off, all of us were like, oh, okay, that's normal.
Yeah, you just see like a half-naked human out of your peripheral. It's like, oh, Kahuna, we're fine.
Yeah,
here.
Nobody blinked an eye. We were just like, oh yeah, that's normal. And he was just looking around. He's like, seriously, nobody's weirded out that like I don't have my shirt on right now. We're like, we kind of expected it. We were a little weirded out that you had your shirt on. And he was like, oh.
So Garham
I
says
was surprised he knew what a shirt was.
Japanese copyright law is aggressive for sale of licensed products. This is why if you go to a convention and everything, the moment that you have people try and bring up like non-licensed merch, everyone starts to like freak the fuck out because Shueisha goes hard on that. This is something that happened a couple of years ago where Shueisha really did a hit to the fan art community because you had all these artists doing Dragon Ball Z fan art and selling them at conventions, and that was the whole thing. But by putting them up for free on YouTube, they are not it falls under fair use clause, and they're actually good. They have had the trailers up for the English dub and the Japanese subbed for like 2 months now. They're still up, and on top of that, I think that this guy is actually now a part of Studio Clips, but this guy Mark Rayner did an animated adaptation of the fight between Guts and Rosine from Lost Children, and that you can watch all of that, and it's fantastic as well, especially for a one-man show animated adaptation of the one arc that everyone's too much of a bitch to do. Lost Children is my favorite fucking story in Berserk, and like literally they're like when they did the 2016-2018 anime adaptation, and we're like, yeah, we're just gonna skip that and go from Black Swordsman straight into Tower of Conviction. No Slug Baron, no Rosine, and I'm like, you guys are just scared because there are kids that get hurt in this.
Oh jeez. That is, I mean, that's tough. That's the thing. My brother loves Berserk, and he goes crazy about it. Like every fan seems to love it.
Everybody's seen Golden Age be adapted, and Guts literally skewers a kid in like the first act. So
this is the thing that confused me. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's one of the greatest things ever written. There's a horse, and I'm like, whoa, hang on, what's that? What? Like, hold up. And then I'm trying to put the pieces together, and and they're like, God, you just got to experience it, man. You just got to experience it.
The big thing that Berserk does, and it does it so well, is it's this story about a man's persistence, like literally just living off of fucking hatred for years. And it turns it like, and this is my take on it, and there are people that have different ones, but like to me, Guts is a fucking kaiju. Like he is a human monster. Like, to me, the ideal ending of Berserk is, yeah, Griffith gets taken down, but like there is no happy ending for Guts. He is just as bad. He is a terrible human being. He is just the bad guy we're rooting for. When you see Godzilla going up against King Ghidorah, you know, okay, yeah, I'm rooting for Godzilla. He's still destroying 3/4 of the fucking city while doing it. There's still tons of innocent people dying in that fight. But like it's Guts, and then like the big thing they do though is they make Griffith such a fantastic villain, and every single person that has read Berserk refuses to fucking admit this because of what Griffith does during the eclipse. But the biggest reason why we all hate Griffith as much as we do is because we fell in love with him in Golden Age. He was the person that we all believed in because we saw Griffith through Guts's eyes in the Golden Age, and when he betrays everybody, it hits you fucking hard and you despise that. Like, there has never been a character that has earned his hatred more than Griffith. And it's why he is one of the best villains in fiction, period. And he's probably my favorite character of that series. I fucking love Griffith. And I am I am not one of I am not going to be one of those people that goes, "Oh, Griffith did nothing wrong." That's not true at all. Griffith did lots wrong.
A lot wrong.
But there is also a element of it is very interesting to see, because if you pay attention to his dynamic with Guts, really this whole thing could have been avoided if everyone had a healthy conversation at one point.
Oh,
and
man.
like upfront about shit. Because there's a moment where like Griffith overhears Guts saying some stuff and it just clicks with him, where he's like, "Oh my fucking God, that's why you did this." And it's like, yeah, if there had been some healthy adult communication going on between everybody, all of this shit would have been avoidable. But unfortunately, you're all a bunch of freaking abused, wounded animals that don't really talk to each other.
Will you be upset if it has some kind of a semblance of a happy ending?
I mean, it's going. I think that it's probably going to. But like to me, Guts is a monster. He is just the monster we're rooting for. Okay. And yes, there are redeeming sides to Guts. There are redeeming qualities. He's still the guy that put a little kid in front of him when fighting that kid's dad.
Oh, geez.
He's still that guy.
Oh,
and
man.
There's this scene in Lost Children where Guts has this brand that attracts like dark spirits to him. And so in Lost Children, he's sitting out by this fire at night, and the dark spirits start to show up, and they've taken on the form of these little fire specks. And as he looks at them, he sees that they're the ghosts of all these missing kids from the town. And he just smiles as he's cutting them to pieces. Oh, and I'm just like, this is the hero of this book. He is a monster. Dean's like, I've avoided Berserk for years until Oden convinced me to read it. Now I own all the collector's editions. It's
horrible but great. That's whatever he says. They're like, it's so good and it's awful. And like they start talking about the details. You're like, this sounds. How do you make this good? They're like, it's so good, and I just can't wrap my head around it.
The big thing about it is it's a combination of its storytelling and then Miura's art. Especially as you develop throughout. I do not like to call it a comic book. I believe it is illustrated literature. Like especially as you get later on, and Miura gets way more detailed in his compositions and everything like that. Like literally the scene in Golden Age where Griffith and Guts are facing off for their second time. There's a landscape in the background, and it straight up feels like a Renaissance painting. And it's absurd.
Yeah, it's incredible.
He is like, it is tragic that he passed before things were completed. And his students and his best friend are doing a very good job. Mm-hmm. If you were not somebody that had spent all the time reading everything through Berserk, you probably wouldn't notice that there was an artist change.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a 2-part question for you. Okay. So Berserk, would it be safe to say it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of brutality?
Oh, fuck yeah.
12 out of 10, 15 out of 10.
No, to pull the old Spinal Tap, it's an 11.
It's 11, all the way up to 11. Now, by comparison, where would you say your book stacks up? And I know it's not going to be on that level, but obviously it's got comparing. I know it's not a one-to-one, but I'm trying to bring us back.
Yeah, let's just compare his book to Berserk. Let's do.
I know it's a little bit
in terms of brutality. The Embrace is a 4. So this is the thing about the Embrace, and it's the thing that makes it unique. Because as I said, this was initially kind of my thing that I wanted to make, like my love letter to James O'Barr's The Crow and Todd McFarlane's Haunt and all these other things. The thing that makes it unique is that the story of the embrace isn't a dark one. It starts in a dark place. But this is ultimately a story about a father having to go through the process of grieving and accepting his loss. By the time that the embrace ends, there is no magic cure-all. David's dead, and he has to accept that. He has to let go of his son because that's how life goes. You can't if you allow that to rule your life and you don't move past it, you are doing a disservice not just to yourself, but the person you lost. And so there is going to come a point where he does that. And that's the other thing is, David's an 8-year-old kid that had loving parents. Yeah, he was murdered. That was tragic. But the reason why he's come back isn't because he wants vengeance on these people. It's because he sees his dad hurting and he wants to help. It's justice, not vengeance. And that's what really draws the line between, the Crow was literally fueled by James O'Barr's impotent rage that he felt at losing, his wife in a drunk driving accident, right? This isn't that. This is a story about how our kids are the best parts of ourselves and how they can save us from our worst and our worst transgressions and everything like that. Clarence is at a moment where he is about to hurt himself and he realizes that his son's been watching him and there's an immediate shame.
And I think that is probably the best time in this entire conversation. It's because I've been waiting for it to pull up the trailer for The Embrace 2. So I would love to show everybody this because we've checked it out on stream before. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. But let's dive into this. I love your music choices too. Like your music choice is so good.
I've got to give this the good stuff to the guy that made our trailer. I'll talk about it after the show is over. But
So for those who don't know, that was the trailer for The Embrace 2. One of the things that I think a lot of people, we've kind of skipped around it. We talk about The Embrace, but we don't really talk about one of the coolest parts for what you're doing is that obviously a father lost his son. And what's so interesting is, and I'm going to use the word specter here. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's just, I'm going to use it here. But the father revisits the place where his son was taken from him, and his son revisits him as a specter. And then that specter joins with his dad, and that is where his father gets the powers from, is them kind of joining together. Am I wrong in that, or is that
that's pretty much what happens? Is they come together and they hug, and then he gets the vision of what happened that night through his son David's eyes, and when he comes to, he's in this superhero suit powered by his son's ghost.
Yeah, and so that's what just makes me love this so much, is that it's like, again, as a dad, as a father of 4, like I've never heard of a story like that. It's usually, they get their powers from God or from hell or from wherever. to avenge their loved ones, but very, very seldomly have I heard that the loved one comes back, and it is through that loved one that the powers come from. And that's what just makes me smile is it's like it's a dad and his son on a quest to kind of get justice for this. And it also, in that, I realized, oh, the dad is going to get closure because eventually these powers are going to go away, meaning his son is also going to go away for good. But it is so touching the way that you introduced that, and that it's like I wasn't prepared for that the first time that I saw this on stream. I really wasn't. And I have thought about this a lot, and it just, again, speaking as somebody who has children, and there's a lot of people out there who do, it's like your kids look up to you as the superhero sometimes. Dad, you do all this stuff. Dad, you can go for days. You can build all these things. But I love the allegory that it's your children that make you super. You're not super, Dad, unless you have kids. You aren't a superhero unless you have your children. And you literally put that down on the page, and it could not be more transparent to me when I saw that. And I had a feeling that you had children of your own when I saw that. But getting in, like, that is a very, very deeply impactful story. And you said that you're writing it from a place that you were in a rough place at the time. But that is a very somewhat of a dark place to go, even darker than you were. And it's not something that I've forgotten. And it's not something, like, again, that's one of those things that I think that when you say, hey, a dad and his son are coming together, and the father gets power from his son, that is an absolute allegory for every father on the planet. We get power from our children when they say, Dad, I love you. Thank you for doing what you do. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the clock says. You get up when you get up for them. You work through the day for them. Oh, I'm tired. Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to go to the fair. Oh, I hurt. It doesn't matter. We're going to go for a nature hike, or this, that, and the other thing. That is just the writing is on the wall, so to speak. And I was enamored by it when I saw it. One of these days, again, this year's been a little rough, but your books will be one of those that I absolutely pick up, because I don't see that very often. I don't see the parental connection like that in stories very often. And you said you drew from stories that you know, but you wanted to put a twist on it with some of the things that you were going through at the time. And it was, I think this is something that can really impact a lot of people. I really, really do. Like, I've told my wife about it several times. Like, babe, this is a tough story. And obviously you were going through a tough time when you were coming up with it, but have you had any moments that you've put down on the page where you've kind of dug deep and you had to stop because you were like, do I put this on the page or not?
I don't know if I've had a moment like that. I do know. So I've already written the end of the series. Like, I don't have all of the issues written, but I was driving my kid to a drop off with his mom and everything like that, and this song came on that I hadn't heard in like a while, and the chorus line came up, and it like brought me to tears. Like, I knew, like, in that moment, like, this has to be the end of the book. Is, like, Clarence singing David this as a lullaby, as he fades away, and like that's got to be it, right? And so I wrote like that was like probably the closest thing I could say to that, where it's like it was just this intensely personal moment where I was like, this has to be it. Like this, like there is no other choice. And it's one of these things that's very difficult for me because the song is like from a very big band. And so like I'm trying to figure out what I have to do to make sure that I can use the lyrics in there without any problems. Because I'm sure, as Justin is aware, the copyright stuff for using music lyrics in a written work is super fucking convoluted.
You get a thesaurus. And I mean that legitimately. Get a thesaurus and just and have the tune in your head and just figure out the words that you can use in place of those. I'm dead fucking serious.
The problem is the words that they have are already perfect. Like it is like the perfect. Yeah. It's the lyrics are perfect and framed that I wouldn't touch a single thing. Like it's one of those things like to change a single word of it would be a disservice to it. And that's where it's frustrating for me as a writer, where it's like, I can't not have this song. And like,
it's a long shot, but have you tried reaching out to whoever wrote the song? Just be like, hey, I love this song. Here's my project. You know,
like
with
I think I've sent them a message on Instagram, but like this is a band that has hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of followers on like all of their
find out how to reach out to their manager. Literally find out how to reach out to their manager and say, hey, here's the deal. And give them their pitch and just be like, look.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing. You never know. Some of those guys would be like like artists are artists, dude. Like, the reason I get so heavy into this is I'm a fucking musician. Like, that's like anybody who has good track or good audio in their trailers immediately can pretty much grab me. Like that's one of my Achilles heels. It's like you can instantly grab me with good audio delivery. And some of these guys, you never know, man. Artists, some of these guys might be able to identify with what you're talking about in the embrace.
That's definitely something I'm looking at doing. I just have to figure out like the getting in touch with their agent or manager or whoever is repping them is going to be the big thing to do.
I have a person I could probably reach out to and say, hey, how would we go about this? And
I would when we're in the green screen, I'll tell you what the band is. So like we can try and get that going.
Let me just, I might, one of the things I love about my community, I don't know if you have a Discord, if you're on Discord, if you like to hang out.
I'm on there, but I'm like terrible at using it. Dude, I'm trying to be better.
Dude,
but
my
it
Discord
the shit out of me.
My Discord is one of the places. Like my Discord is, and it was Gilded at one point in time, but Gilded decided to do stupid stuff with Roblox. But like seriously, like I will send you an invite to the Discord. People go in there, they share memes, they joke around, they have fun, but they also network. And they get together with each other and they work with each other and they build projects with each other. And like I said, it's one of those things like that for artists here, like that, go where creative people are, and that is my Discord. Yes, they are a bunch of fucking meme lords, and I have like I've gone there at 5:30 in the morning when I'm driving to work, and I'm like, I just want to say good morning to everybody, and I see the conversation that's being had, and I'm like, it's 5:30 in the morning. What the fuck are you people doing? Why are you doing
this? Why are you like this?
Yeah, and they just like
Royce doesn't like Spice and Wolf.
And then I get a meme back, and they're just like, "Bro, you know how we be," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I do. I don't know, but no, I there is probably a way. I don't think I know somebody who could make it happen, but I probably know somebody who knows somebody who may know somebody who could probably make it happen.
That's how these things always happen.
And it's just
a
like
connection. It's like a link. It's like a chain link of connections
Yeah.
where it's like, well,
and
I don't know somebody, but I know somebody who knows a guy who knows
And-
like 6 guys that
well,
might be.
it's the
able to-
There's
seven.
a-
What is it? The 7
mean-
degrees of Kevin Bacon,
Well,
right?
hell, Royce, your Discord's like what, a couple hundred people, and out of that, there's at least 3 or 4 people in there that have been, kind of in the music industry and toured and know big names and still
Yeah.
have friends that were producers and connections and things like
Yeah.
that. It's sort of, I don't know,
Yeah,
it's weird, but it's also really cool. Like it could be that kind of thing. Never hurts to kick that tree and pass it around.
I've had people who are actual like artists, worked in all kinds of industry. My guild had more people at the time, but I have to kind of rebuild from there. But
Mhm.
but dude, this artwork. So one thing that I've been wanting to ask, because you said you didn't have the visualization of what you thought the Embrace character, which by the way, does he have a superhero name? Is his superhero name the Embrace?
It's literally the Embrace. I think that
Okay.
we'll probably end up revealing like Clarence and David coming up with the name together in like the second to last issue. But
okay, that would be cool. Okay, so it's
like-
okay, I like it. It's just like we're just gonna call. But when I see this, a lot of people have. But when I saw this, I did get Spawn from it. I saw it. Now you're talking about the Crow. I see a little bit of that in there. A lot of people have said they've seen Venom in there, but like
there's
really-
definitely a bunch of like symbiote Spider-Man in
Yeah.
there as well. Like in the first book, one of my favorite
I love that you did the Simpsons reference here. I love that you're worried about.
It's also a chat reference. So in a lot of the chats in a lot of the streams that Dean and I have been on, there's a Mo Biggs in the chat, and he spells his name
Shit!
Mo.
Yep.
So it's a double reference. So we have that. We also have Arrogant Ape is on a lot of YouTube chats, and like he's a big supporter of us. So like we have him there. Like we
That's
throw
awesome.
in a bunch of references to the community and everything.
That's
like that.
awesome. I love
That's
that.
Without you
fucking
guys, we
cool.
wouldn't be here. What it comes down to with I don't even remember where I was going with this. It's been a night.
Tis
but, like-
tis is a night, as my
Yes.
buddy back in the day would say.
But this has been such like a fun thing to kind of get together for for numerous reasons. I mean, it was very humbling. Oh, that's right. I was talking about, so one of the things that a lot of people really enjoyed in the first book was the dynamic between Clarence and David. And so like one of the big things, like the biggest thing in terms of influence for them is Clarence collected comics and David would sneak read his books. And the big comic he collected was The Astonishing Arachnotine, because you can't mess with copyrights and trademarks. So there's tons of like Spider-Man references, and not only just like their back and forth, but in how they move, right? Like when they there's this scene where they're like jumping up to a building and start kind of like swinging between them, and David has the suit shoot out some of these hands. It's like web fluid, and then Clarence goes, it's called web fluid. I was like, so you were the one that was reading my comics, and it starts this back and forth. So it's like there's definitely elements of that.
But that's relatability to the story, and that is one thing that I see so many authors like they try to reinvent the wheel. And obviously, you're like, no, I want readers to know that kids fucking love Spider-Man, because guess what? Kids fucking love Spider-Man. And guess what? In my world, they still love Spider-Man. I can't call him Spider-Man because of copyright.
Yeah.
But everybody fucking gets it. We all understand that people love Spider-Man. And I love that you're not going to bullshit. You're not going to beat around the bush. You're like, guys, we all love Spider-Man. Yes, for copyright reasons, I got to name him something different. But guess what? And you know what? And now a dad who collected Spider-Man books, whose son used to sneak those Spider-Man books and read from him, whose son is now passed, and now his son, as a specter or a ghost, is granting his dad powers. Guess what? Now they're swinging around similar to fucking Spider-Man. You know why? Because Spider-Man's a good fucking character and everybody loves him. And I love that you put that shit in there. That is, it's kind of funny to talk about getting around the copyright shit, but damn it, dude, if that's not some shit that would absolutely fucking happen.
I love that too. Just you got to get creative, and it's on the nose, but it's also clever. It reminds me of the old, like, the R-rated movies that would go on TNT or TBS, and they have to edit out the swear words. Like, we can't just get rid of it; we replace it with. So you have to try and make it sound,
Well, and like that's the thing is, Dean and I
What
even talked
the
about.
fudge?
What the I hated that. I'm like, that guy didn't.
You maggot farmer! He kicked me in the guts and called me a bragger.
Dean and I had even talked about at one point doing like a mini book where it's like we do the origins of the astonishing arachnatine, and like have it be that it's like have it be that moment where David's sneaking into Clarence's office and is reading the comic.
That's cool.
And we have like an artist that comes in and does it in like a super bronze age, silver age style,
so cool.
and what have you. But like we like the few artists that we were talking to just didn't have the availability, and we didn't have the time to do the script. But that's definitely something I would like to do by the time we close out.
I know some guys that probably could. I mean, I don't know what they would charge, and the guys that I know would actually charge a lot. I know, but I mean, I know some people that, dude, this is, I know a lot of, and the guys that I know, they're all dads. So if, like I said, it's, I don't know how the fuck I got here, dude. I know people that know people now. It's weird. I hate saying that, but it's
but like that's how life goes, man. It's like,
so,
dude, it was crazy. Cause like I think it was at some point last year, I was on Facebook and I got like 5 comic book legends and my people you may know. And shoot them a friend request, and I was like, the fuck? like I was just like, I mean, yeah, I've been in indie comics for a couple of years now, but like I am now in a network with these people. What? I was just like, what is going on? This is crazy.
That's really cool. It's, you're closer to these things than I think we realize. It's so easy to just like send a message out to people and they're back. I mean, that's why I ended up here. I saw Royce's channel and Daniel's, and whenever Richard was still here, some of the earlier episodes, and I was just like, I mean, the show IAK on Royce, in here, and I just sent a comment and I was like, hey, I love what you guys are doing here. And they're like, he wrote back almost immediately. I was like, no way, this guy's talking to me. He's got like it's huge following. I was like, it's so cool. And it's as easy as that sometimes. It's just really neat.
Absolutely. And I mean, like that's the other thing is like talking to these comic book artists. I've gotten some people. I've gotten to work with some people that I would never have in a million years thought that I would be able to say like, oh, I've got it covered by so and so, or oh, I've got this, or oh, I'm working with this guy on a book on something. Like it's crazy because like these are just normal people looking just as much for work as anybody else. But it's like, yeah, but like your name's been on a book that's like printed all over the place, and I've got like all the variants that you've ever done of this run and this, that, the other. So,
dude,
man,
it's so crazy how quickly you can get dropped in. So I will never forget. It was God, it was almost 2 years ago now that I started kind of talking about, in the indie comic space and it kind of really diving my head into it, trying to shout out creators. And then John De La Rose had invited me on a stream, and he just, shot out an invite. I was like, oh, fuck, this would be really cool. And I literally was sitting on a stream. Now, and I've been on stream with him since then.
Yeah.
But I was sitting on a stream with, and I've never read their books, but I know but I know how prolific they are. because I hated reading as a kid. So I watched a lot of the coverage on YouTube. People covered their comic book stories. But I sat on a stream, I think with Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron. And
Yeah,
I'm literally sitting there just with Goliaths of the industry. And I'm like,
yeah, that's just like you're like, oh
what,
man.
and this was before
what happened?
but this was before they were involved with like, oh, I think was it Chuck and Mike? I know Mike was there. Yeah. No, and I'm like, I'm literally sitting here going, I'm just like the little 1,000 subscriber YouTube channel guy, just like in the corner. Like, I don't know how to fucking, like, I don't know how to handle this situation. Like, these are, and guess what? They're dudes. They're normal dudes. Like we've got to get Mike Barron back on because he got a new microphone now. We still have to reach out. We'll reach out to him and ask to get him back on because he was gonna come on, but his mic ended up messing up on him. But dude, it was, and now Mike, like Mike Barron, he's such a sweetheart. He'll shoot me a message once in a while. Hey,
Yeah.
checked out the show. Like he's a fucking sweetheart. I love him to death. And it's so crazy. Just some of the people that you meet, and you're just like, wait, like I'm in your circle, not like the close circle, right? But like,
Yeah, but you're still there.
I'm like, oh, I'm like you thought about me enough to send me a message.
No
Like,
kidding.
what the fuck? How did I get here? Like dude, just, and it's so crazy how you get there, and that's just.
Yeah,
And
it's the networking opportunities are insane. So I'm talking to Royce on YouTube, and he's like, "Rainback," I was like, "It's crazy." And then before I know it, I'm like, "Hey guys, I make music," and then they're like putting my music out there, and then Daniel's like, "I want you to work on music for GCDI." I'm just like, "Holy, like this is wild!" It's just crazy how these opportunities pop up. And you talk to people, and it happens, on a low level like mine, but then the whole way up the ladder, and there seems to be that like fluidity, whether it be somebody like me that's down here or somebody that's up at the top or guys working their way up and all that sort of stuff. It's just really cool how fast the networking.
I will be back.
It's okay.
Strange noises.
We can handle it.
No, I need to make sure that my old ass lab is not trying to kill one of our younger dogs. I'll be back. I need to make sure there's not a bloodbath happening. I'll be back.
Oh,
Go
sure.
deal with it.
One thing that I want to point out is I was listening on some other interviews of yours, and with this campaign, I think it's this one and the last one as well. Each time you're tied to a charity whenever you're doing this as well, correct?
So it was like the last campaign was the first one that I did this with. Was we had this cover done by Joel Gomez, who's a pretty big name. Like, again, one of those people where you're just, I can't believe I get to work with this guy. And it's a very special cover. So like when it came down to coming up with the story of David and Clarence, there was one thing that, stuck out in my memory. Right after James was born, I had read this article about this kid's body being found in a park that I used to walk through all the time in Alexandria. The Stone.
It's horrible.
Yeah, the Stone Run River Park. And so like that's where like David and Clarence's story came from. This kid was killed in like a gang, like some sort of gang crime. And so the reason why I decided to have that cover done was in November of last year, the guys that perpetrated that crime, that were the murderers, were sentenced. Justice was served. And so it was like a cool way to kind of pay tribute to that. And so I had him do this watercolor piece of the embrace at the Stone Run River Park, looking down into the water and seeing the reflection of David and Clarence. And so at that point, I was like, this is like, when I saw it, I was like, this is a beautiful piece. And I wanted to find something. So I ended up finding this organization called the Virginia Victims Assistance Network. And one of the cool things that they do is they run a support group for homicide survivors. So effectively, the loved ones of people that were killed. And so,
oh my God,
I was like, this is perfect. And so though I talked with them, I told them what the Embrace is all about, and they loved it. And so we they for whatever reason they weren't able to go like fully official, but like I got their blessing where every single one of those Joel Gomez editions of the first Embrace book that are sold, $5 goes to the Virginia Victims Assistance Network, right? And so like in the first book, we raised around $150.
Nice
for them. So like when we did that Second Chance campaign on Kickstarter, that version of the book is what of the first book is what's on the Embrace 2 that you can get either by itself, or we have a catch-up tier that's got both books together. And again, with that, $5 of it goes to the Virginia Victims Assistance Network in support of their homicide survivor support group. So like it was just a cool thing where it's like the Embrace can actually make that difference, can be for people.
I love that, dude. That's really cool.
That's that is honestly one of the really cool things that I love to see when people are like, hey, yeah, I could take the money and run with it. I could take the money and pay my artist. But you know what else I could do is we could take some of that money and we could give it back to people and help them in a way by just trying to create art, trying to create a story that people love, and trying to create something that people around the world can feel, and we can feel it together. And not only that, but we can give together, and we can bring people out of the darkness together. And that is one of the things that I really wanted. I'm glad we were able to talk about all of that tonight. But that being said, Michael Oden, give us your final send-off. What do you do? Where can we find you?
My name is Michael Oden. I'm the creator and founder of Nine Realms Publishing. I write a little book called The Embrace that has its second book live on Indiegogo right now. Please share the link around, support us however you can. We are shadow banned over there, so any little bit of exposure helps. And you can find me on Twitter at ElysianFields_0, and on Facebook and Nine Realms Publishing. YouTube, I do a somewhat weekly show where I talk about silly things to do with the Roman Empire with my girlfriend Miranda, who is in chat.
I haven't thought about it yet. I'm like a week and a half.
You're slacking. Those are rookie numbers.
I get it.
Day.
Dude, I'm a safety manager, and I've had to think about dumbass shit that's been happening for the last month and a half. It's just every day I
think
show
about
up.
the Roman Empire instead.
I mean, that's
I
what
would
you
love
should be doing.
And then I get reached out to by insurance companies and lawyers, and I'm like,
everything else.
Tell them to think about the Roman Empire.
Everything else is temporary. The Imperium is eternal, friend. It lives in our hearts.
Like, hey, we would really love information on this incident at this date, blah, blah, blah. And then I just send back, but have you thought about the Roman Empire?
Yes,
that would probably get me fired.
Hey, man, you never know. Maybe they go, yes, I have, and we're with you, brother. And you'll never know if you don't ask. Oh God. But anyways, yeah. So you can find me on those platforms. And yeah, I did want to share something with you guys here.
Do it.
Two things. As a thank you for having us on. I did post this one to Twitter today, but we just got a new colored page in from the Embrace 2. So this is our villain Strangle tussling with the Embrace. And as you can see, it doesn't particularly go well for our hero.
Whoa. That is legit.
Eugen did such a tremendous job with these colors. Like Dean very frequently, like Eugen sends in colors and Dean always has notes. We had Dean and I had the exact same 2 notes. They were very nominal. This page is fucking sick. And then lastly,
the page notes, bruh.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that was literally my initial reaction. Eugen was like, "Hey, I've uploaded the colors for page X. up on the drive. I was like, okay, cool. I'll go take a look. And then I went, fuck off. I was like, this is amazing.
That is really good.
But like, yeah, like, so
any critiques, bruh? Well, I don't know how to take that. How do you?
The purple on his hands and everything was a little bit lighter before. That was the only real edit that we made. It was like the hands need to be a little bit darker purple, but otherwise, you're good.
I like my hands darker. What?
We want you to really feel like he's crushing his head, like he was just crushing grapes, and that's what the stain.
Yeah, of course,
the same kind of vibe.
And then last thing is. On the Embrace 2 campaign, we have a 12-page preview of Elysian Fields Reborn, which you can purchase for $10 with no additional shipping if you're in the domestic United States. And so I'm going to show you what this renaissance of my first book is looking like here real quick.
Oh, I have seen this.
Yeah. So
I feel like you shared this a while back.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely shared like a couple of pages, but like this is probably one of my favorite moments from the book. I figured I'd let you guys see. So if you want, you know, these are what I am bringing to the table. I do nothing but give my all in all of my projects, and you know, Elysian Fields it's great to kind of come back to. And I can't wait to share more with you guys when that time comes. But
very cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking great, dude. Thank you so much for being here, man.
It's my pleasure.
Evely Music. Justin, what do you do? Where can we find you?
So I am Justin, but I make music under the band name Evely. You can find all of my music on all streaming platforms as well as Bandcamp, and there's 4 instrumental chiptune rock albums there. They're perfect for background music. My new releases are metal. It's a unique blend of melodic death metal, post-hardcore, pop punk, and Japanese rock. Go listen to my tunes, share them with your friends, and let me know if you want to use them on your streams, perhaps. I also make music for people in our sphere, like Mr. Daniel P. Riley and his awesome series G Sedai, which has a campaign right now, and you should go back that while you're at it tonight. For every time you listen to one of my songs, I get 1.3 cents. So just play it in the background for like hours and hours, and with that money, I can fund more awesome projects in the future. I also co-host a show called Iron Seas on Tuesday nights with Mr. Bat Sauce, the Ultimate Kahuna, and AC Pritchard. We watch and discuss films, storytelling. We have some fighting in there, of course. We have guests on, we promote their stuff, and we just kind of have a good time. With that, a million thanks to our awesome guests and also to our chat. And I believe I'm handing this off to Mr. Daniel P. Riley.
That's me. I am Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org, literary coaching and services, here to help you refine your creative project to its ultimate form before it gets out there. And since I mentioned it earlier, I said impress me. I am impressed. I did back the project with the catch-up tier.
Oh!
So
Woo!
Oh, you like that? No.
I want to check it out. So
Okay,
I backed
awesome.
the project and the catch-up tier. Sorry, internet's still a little
Thank
wonky.
you so much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No, and I do appreciate Daniel not only dying but also resurrecting on the stream.
I do my best.
It was a
But like
wonderful
Justin
miracle.
said,
to
by the
observe. I
way,
do appreciate that, and I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Our fantastic guest, Michael Oden, my fantastic co-host, Daniel P. Riley, and Justin from Evely Music. I also want to say thank you, chat, for being miscreants and delinquents like you usually are. You never
its ultimate form, guilty
disappoint.
gearhead.
It's Thanks, chat.
Its final
You know,
form.
they were tame tonight. They weren't terrible. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what? We're doing Sunday coffee this week. It's been a few weeks since Sunday coffee, so spread the word. If you know anybody else who likes Sunday coffee, I'm going to be reading your comments this Sunday because I haven't done it in a while, and I need a break from my projects. So I will see you guys on Sunday at 11 a.m. Central. We're going to drink some coffee. We're going to read some comments. You're probably going to hear some rants. and we're gonna have some fun. So hopefully you guys will tune in on the Drink with Crazy 80WC replay. I just need to rename this channel A Drink with Crazy Live. People have been begging me to do that for months.
Yeah, I mean, it
it makes sense.
Yeah,
and I haven't done it yet.
That's a problem.
Probably takes several clicks to make that happen. So
yeah, I know the mic is hot, Hedge. That's literally the shit, dude. The
Good night, Hedge.
is so old he doesn't remember that this is what we do every week. Like, I remember the first time
he's been sunsetting since 2:00 in the afternoon. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into Iron Age Nights. I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday for Sunday Coffee. And as always, until next time, cheers, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.